SSM's Wednesday Global Africa program brings to you our news stories, exclusive reporting, and SSM perspectives on the day's top news. Plus, the inside scoop on Africa's most important developing stories. Join us on Wednesdays, 11 a.m. West African time. In a world where news flies around every minute, you need the ability to relate and connect with what matters and stay up to date. Schengen Story Media News Echoes program is Africans in Diaspora and at Home's leading English news network, one of the most trusted, respected sources for news updates on current affairs as they affect global Africa.
Yes, beautiful Wednesday here, 24th of June 2026. My name is Mark Godwin. You were joined in Milan studio. You're welcome to our Wednesday edition of SSM Wednesday Global Africa. And next to me is...
Well, this is George Chukwu, calling on you and greeting you from Toronto, Canada. Welcome to our Wednesday Global Africa News. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you, George. George, yes, we're following the news like we normally do, and we're here today. It looks like the Senate is. It looks like the police bill is making some sense. We are seeing that things are getting clearer for that state police bill. George Bola Ahmed Tinubu formally asked the Senate to approve the constitutional amendment bill that will aim at establishing that plan we've been talking, state police across Nigeria. And this is good move if this will strengthen our security apparatus. What do you have on this, George?
Well, it's a major step in the in Nigerian security reform and conversation, actually. And if passed and ratified, state police could improve local intelligence, speed up response to insecurity, and bring policing closer to communities it is meant to protect. We have said this for the past 2 years, that the real test, however, will be building a framework that prevents political abuse. We see how the governors basically, or the senators, are a little bit weak in, appearing to, ratify this and make sure that it is. So what we are making sure is, when this happens, there is always the pros and cons of every situation. But in this particular case, we want to make sure that there is no political abuse while ensuring professionalism, accountability, coordination with the federal security agencies. So, like what we said last time, when the president now calls for this, verbally, or send a form for them to do this, every single individual will appear. That's what we said last time, if you remember. We were saying that now that the president has officially asked these people to ratify this and make sure that it passes, it is going to pass. And it's a very strong move forward for Nigeria when it comes to insecurity. So with that, we're hoping that it will happen soon.
A very strong move for Nigeria when it comes to security. George, but there are still some small obstacle, blockade to this whole thing. We saw some policemen trying to say that this will take job off them. And remember, we said it here before that the IG, the police general inspector of police, have said that this won't affect the police career, the present police officers. He says they will become federal police servicemen. But they are not understanding that, George. They are still looking at it like they're trying to take the job off them and they will be made redundant. So don't you think there should be more sensitization, awareness among the police force all over Nigeria, making them understand? Right, George.
One of the major problems we have in our country is because change is something that we are not very used to. And maintenance of infrastructure is another weakness that we have. Now, when a police officer will come and tell you, how can creating state police take job from you? When you are in the federal and you can become part and parcel of the training troop that will train the state policing, it is going to increase, employment for young people who will now be trained to become state police. And if you are from the north or from the south, you will be part and parcel of the whole entire training apparatus, whereby you can be sent over there to train these police officers in your locality so that at least they will understand the way that it functions. So it's a small mindset when you start thinking about some of these people that are thinking that he's going to take a job. How is he going to take job from you? He's going to increase employment in his state. So there's no way they can be thinking about that unless they are, their cup is always half full or half empty per se. It doesn't make any sense.
Yes, indeed, it doesn't make any sense, George. We all have also our prof, Professor Charles from the United States, with us. Prof, the screen is dark. I don't know if it's from my end, but
yeah, I think it's from your end.
Okay, I think, yeah. Okay, George.
I don't think it's from your end there. Prof, you need to readjust this thing because it cannot be from him. It's gotta be from you. You're the one that controls it. Yes.
Yes, I think it's from Prof's end. Okay, we'll wait for Prof to get it together. So yes, but we also have joining us is the Dr. Big Man, Dr. Femi, Dr. Olufemi. Okay, let me also wait for him to put the camera on. So, George, well said. Now, George, the problem is, I think there are some police officers amongst them are trying to cause that sabotage. They're trying to do that. They are the ones spreading that rumor that this will take job off them, and I'm saying also maybe the police force need to do more program. I mean, we should have maybe more awareness programs, some conferences, all of that, teaching them how to transcend, how to go from this this position they are now to being federal policemen, and all of that. I mean, maybe they are not doing enough. Maybe the human resource department or whatever department that handles such things, they are not doing enough, George, because truly I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing conferences. I'm not seeing mobilization plans on this. I'm not seeing post things, creating that awareness. You see, the key thing is creating the awareness of the change. So what do you think they should do more?
Well, I think number one is they need to articulate exactly the pros and the advantages of having a state police. That's number one. And they have to cite examples with other nations that are already practicing this, like Canada, like US, where they have marshals, constables, and all those type of local security forces that are helping the federal police. So I mean, change is one issue that is very difficult for us. But it doesn't matter really what you do. You will always have naysayers. You will always have people who will come out from the negative standpoint. So, in essence, really, I think that awareness is one thing that needs to be done. Somebody who can be articulate enough to let them know that this is for your own good and for the good of the nation. So, why would they come against it anyway? I mean, we are trying to improve the security system in Nigeria. You guys are unable, incapable, if we may say so, of doing the job that is already prescribed for you from a local standpoint. And then when answers are coming and you want to stand against it, those naysayers need to be put down, and then let's move forward, because this will help our security system in Nigeria. Because, like we said before, security is local. When you have local intelligence, you have people that can be able to now, tell you who is involved and who is not, and it makes it easier for them to, manage the security system in their states. So I don't know; those naysayers should be just put aside, and we need to move forward.
Yes,
Prof,
put aside and move forward. Yes, Prof is very visible. Yeah, Prof, we can see you. Yes, with your glasses on. But Prof, we're talking. You're welcome, Prof. Go ahead.
Welcome.
Go ahead.
I'm glad to be here. I forgot you don't support Firefox. I was on Firefox at first, so I had to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. The network app is Google Chrome compliant, very
Yes,
compliant with Google.
yes.
So, Prof, we're talking about the security issue. We've been talking about this for weeks now, but it's worth discussing, Prof, because here lies the background to all of the insecurity in Nigeria. Today, we heard the president has formally asked the Senate to approve the constitutional amendment bill that will aim to establish the state policing, like we've talked here. What's your take on this? And we also observed some saboteurs. Some people are trying to say this is not the way forward. What do you say, Prof?
Well, okay. Well, thank you. As you said, this topic has been going on for a long time now. It did not start the last couple of weeks. It did not start the last couple of months. It was going on even at the time of Amoteku. They had a great opportunity then. But the last statement I heard Sir John say, well, I agree with. That is, this is security is a local thing. Security is a national. Security is international. So you're going to have many layers and layers of security systems in place if you really want to solve this problem, from the local level to the local government to the state level to federal. I mean, there are examples all across the world where this is practiced. It's not new. Nigeria is not the new. It's not the only one country to be talking about how do we implement security systems, so that. To say that it's not needed, of course, there are going to be people who will say it's not needed. But the reality is, as I think it's been established, this is going to destabilize their business empires. And so, obviously, they are going to kick against it. But I think the people who have the courage to implement this and make sure that it works are going to become heroes, because the people are tired. Nigerians are tired. Citizens are tired. They are scared. It's a miracle that people are still going to work. It's a miracle that farmers are still going to the farms. It's a miracle that schools are still open, that children are still going to school. I mean, there's fear all across the land. So to say that this is not required, I think that person has to be living under a rock or something. So yeah, I think it's overdue. Really, it is overdue.
And another thing also, Prof, is this. I think that the people, the sponsors of these terrorists, there are sponsors of these terrorists, and they are coming, slowly. Their names are coming out, and recently, about yesterday or 2 days ago, some bureau de change, America released, some companies, some bureau de change that are actually helping these people. So when you are seeing stuff like this happen, and people want to kick against it, it could be the sponsors of this terrorism that is actually bringing the negative aspect of this entire saga, because they don't want the state policing that will actually mess up their network. So that's what I think that is happening. So when you see a good thing that is about to take place and you see people kicking back against it, it could be through those people who know that when the state policing, is instituted, it will disrupt and destroy their empire or whatever that they are doing. Because this particular terrorism in Nigeria is sponsored locally. It's sponsored locally, and already we are beginning to find out some of these people. But what we need to do is have enough balls to bring these people out and let them face the justice in Nigeria. Because if we continue to, pamper them with kid's glove, it will continue to fester. That cancer needs to be caught and caught permanently in our country. And I applaud the federal government for doing a great job in this area.
That cancer needs to be plugged off and plugged permanently. Joining us also is Dr. Olufemi from London, UK. Dr. Olufemi, hope you can hear us.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, Mark. Good afternoon, Sir George. And good afternoon, Prof.
Yes.
Good afternoon. Good to meet you. I've been expecting to hear from you, and I'm very impressed. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Doctor, we're still on the security issue. George just went overboard with something we were to talk about too. A list came out. The United States brought a list, and we saw that Some people are behind financing the Boko Haram, ISIS in Nigeria. Now, we'll be having lists come out like this, gentlemen, but nobody addresses it. We don't know nothing, no reaction. We just see lists and that's it. You know, with no follow-up, nothing. Dr. Olufemi, will this list now be looked into, and will these people be fished out? Will Nigerians know who are behind all of this evil in our country?
Yes, I think we are actually getting there. And getting there really means actions will be local. You remember I've been shouting this over the rooftop, that this security thing has to be brought down to local level. And I've been crying about this all this while. And listen, let me tell you how this will work with this reduction we're talking about. Now, if there's a kidnapping issue or there's terrorism or insecurity issue that concern Kebbi State, and the people of Kebbi knows that Bureau de Change is in Kebbi State, the people, the justice of the people will start coming. All the police will be child's play. You want to tell me that my family members were kidnapped in Kogi State, and I know that there's a Bureau de Change in Kogi State. My family members will go after that Kogi State, burn it down, and if that person, they will buy the person of that place. We will see this will start happening because this security we're talking about has come home, and the roost has come to be dealt with. The case of making it a national issue, a political issue, has to stop. This is a national and social malice that has to be dealt with. He has nothing. He has no political coloration. He has no ethnic coloration. He has no tribal coloration. Igbos are kidnapping Igbos. Yorubas are kidnapping Yorubas. Hausas are kidnapping Hausas, and they are vice versa. It is a crime. It is criminality at work, and we're just making it as if it's nothing. Anyone that's against this policing, we, like George mentioned the last time we met, that their names should be published. Those who are against state policing, their names should be mentioned. They are saboteurs. They should be watched. Those people who are against state policing, they should be on the watch list of the people, not the police, not on the army, of the people.
That's it.
Yes, strong words, Dr. Femi. Also, we are saying something again. We said something earlier, George and I. The police is not doing a good job carrying their members, the police force along. We hear that most policemen don't seem to understand what's going to happen. So they are seeing it like job will be taken off them. We saw the IGP Disu. We hired him last 2 weeks, telling them it won't affect their career. They will become federal police and all of that. But we still heard that they are not taking it. They don't understand it. So don't you guys think there should be more awareness program, sensitization, conferences, it educates them on what is about to happen? Prof, what do you say about that aspect? Police doing things? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely. Awareness should be one of those things that they have in place. The authorities, the government, in this case, the police commission, whoever is responsible for driving this new initiative. Definitely, in the absence of communication, there's always rumors. We know that in our country, rumors is actually what drives everything. It starts from one part of the country. By the time it gets to the end of the country, it has become a bigger story, and the story
into something else
is totally incorrect. And so this is a massive program that they are trying to initiate. There are those who might compare it to the pre-1960 police system. It's probably not going to be the same. It's going to be very different because at that time you only had 3 regions. Now you have 36 states plus FCT. You have different governors. You have a whole lot of things, a whole lot of parts in motion. So absolutely, there has to be awareness, not just to the current police officers or police personnel, but the whole nation needs to be informed of what is going on. They need to be told exactly what they are trying to do, because this is going to be different We're in the 21st century, not in 1960. There's a whole lot of activities that should be taking place right now. In fact, there should be a blueprint that shows this is what this new system is going to look like. The only jobs they should be worried about losing is the fact that they are not going to be able to take bribes as they used to. Because now you have some new sheriffs in town that are going to do things differently. And so definitely, absolutely, there should be adequate training. Somebody needs to be communicating this to the general populace so that when you see somebody wearing new clothes in your street corner, you're not going to be calling them jihadists or bandits, but these are the new police people in town. The commissioners, everybody should be going through some kind of training. So whether it's awareness training, whether it's physical, how to handle weapons, whether it's how to drive vehicles, and so on and so forth. A lot of this should be happening. I mean, I think it should. It's a good thing to happen to our country for a change. For a change. Something new is about to happen.
Talking about uniform, gentlemen. We saw large consignment of military uniform coming through Nigeria. Thank God for the custom; they were able to stop it. Last time, Dr. Lufemi said this is not Nigeria, but Dr. Femi, you can see now that these uniforms are brought into Nigeria. Now, who could be behind this big consignment of military uniform? George, what do you say about this? I mean,
this is not a routine seizure. Honestly, this is a deeply troubling indicator of how far Nigerian security crisis has evolved. When 47 sacks of military camouflage and suspected illicit substances are being moved, towards the southeast, the issue is no longer just smuggling. It is an industrial scale criminalization of national security. Can you imagine our own military uniform? The real concern is not merely who was arrested, but who supplied the uniform, who funded the movement, and which armed networks we are waiting to receive them. If the investigation stops at the transporters, then the state would only be, trimming the branches while leaving the roots of a dangerous underground ecosystem intact. So we need to go deep, real deep, to find a complete and absolute investigation. Who imported it? Who was it being moved to? Where and who sponsored it? We need to do a thorough investigation, expose that network, and put them through the judicial system and let them face the consequences. Because this is very troubling. You know where it was heading to? It's now heading to a particular place. So somebody was there waiting to receive these things. Could it be part of and parcel of this particular terrorism act? Because we see them always wearing some of the uniforms that are, military uniforms, our own military uniforms. So a thorough investigation needs to be done, and people need to be brought to order. Honestly, this is very troubling.
Okay. Well,
I yield the floor.
Yeah. Can I also make a comment about this? Okay. Now, this insecurity thing we're talking about, over the years has become a bread and butter situation for some people. And when we're talking about breaking the backbone of this, it's not going to be overnight. For someone to import 47 sacks, 47 sacks, now that's a lot. Nobody knows whether there's a first consignment or second consignment. Like George said, thorough investigation needs to be made. Now, this is where it will begin to take shape. When it becomes when something is a national thing, our things is not different from my thing. Our thing is different from my thing. When it becomes a local thing, when, for example, let's assume Chief Adelabu's children, niece and sister and niece and nephew were kidnapped and they were not released, and he became governor. Do you think if this is coming to your state, he will let it slide? He won't. So that's when it becomes personal. When things is Nigeria, we make it look as if it's a national problem. Nigeria money is our money, not my money. State money is not my money, it is our money. But when state insecurity becomes local, when it becomes state and local, you start seeing results. And when results are coming in, I'll give you an example. When we're talking about armed robbery and all the stuff, the headquarters of armed robbery was Lagos State, and Lagos State took charge.
Yep.
It was dealt with seriously, and anybody that hears armed robbery, they know number to call and they know who to respond to. That was when the rapid response squad was created, and it was effective because it became a local issue. And this has to be done in the state, replicated in the state. All these years, the state governors have been collecting security vote, has been spending on buying various things, private jets, buying cars, and funding luxurious lifestyle at the expense of the security in the states. And this has to stop.
It has to stop. We all stand with you on this, Dr. Olufemi. Viewers, we have a couple of viewers here. Viewers, join the conversation. Let's hear your views. Let's have your points. Bring in your text in this issue. These are issues that concerns all of us. Everybody must add to the plan. Nobody must be exempted. Gentlemen, Prof, there is a situation also. Somehow, Dr. Femi and Prof. George, the federal government has allowed some individuals to run security arrangements in their own their side. We have people like he's my friend anyway, Asari Dokubo with his private soldiers. We have the other man also there in the South, and all of them. Now, is this not going to Tompolo? Will this not compound to a complex situation? Because like this clothes, the arm camouflage George talked about, who knows if this is for Tompolo or the other man or one of these people, you know? Prof, what will you say about these private security arms we have that federal government permits?
Yeah, well, I think that at least, as both Dr. Femi and Sir George have already said, this needs to be thoroughly investigated. I mean, somebody is sending those uniforms. There is an address. They are coming from an address. They got loaded onto a ship or a vessel or some cargo somewhere in the world. Mm-hmm. It's not invisible. Somebody should know about that. And obviously, they are going to an address. What address were they being sent to? Somebody has to know about that. So it's not rocket science. I mean, that aspect of it is not rocket science. Obviously, if this were destined, or if the destination was going to be a military complex in Nigeria, because the uniform looks very, very, very similar to what the military people wear, then somebody needs to identify who that destination was or where that destination is. This doesn't need to take too long to identify, because that's a large consignment of stuff that it did not go under the boat or under the ship to come to Nigeria. In the case of individuals having their own security systems, well, I don't know anywhere in the world where that is allowed. I mean, you may have private security as they have in the US, for example, but they wear a different type of uniform. Their uniform is not the same as the police. Their uniform is not the same as the military, because there has to be a clear mark, a clear differentiation between the private security system and the federal sanctioned security system. But when you allow individuals to have their own, if you will, their own army, it doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, and nobody does that. You can have private security, which you pay for, and they protect you, but absolutely they don't wear the same uniforms as the military or even the state police. There has to be a mark. I'm just wondering, just real quick, these uniforms we are talking about here, at least the military people I have seen, they have name patches on their uniform. Yeah. Yes. So that way police have name patches on their uniform. So when you are talking to them, they don't want you to identify them. They cover it up. But I mean, so why should this be different? I don't know why they allow individuals to have their own military complex. Again, it's not practiced anywhere in the world.
Okay,
It's not.
okay. I don't think
Yes.
that they are allowed to have their own military, but actually, it was as a result of the number of police officers that we were operating with and the military, and that's the reason why as a private security apparatus is allowed. There's nothing wrong with that as long as it's distinct. Here they do it, but what it does actually, it helps the military and the state police, I mean, and the federal police people, not to engage a lot of these our federal police people for their own security system. So only those that are qualified will be allowed, but the private ones can be paid for by individuals. So there is nothing wrong with that, as long as there is a distinction in their uniform and who they are. And then if they're
But,
carrying guns,
yes.
that means that they
Mm.
have already applied, ratified, and approved for those guns that they're carrying. So there's
But
nothing
George,
wrong with it.
Nigerian case is different. But before we go further, gentlemen, let's acknowledge the presence of our diva, the only lady here, BD Nana from Lagos, Nigeria. BD, you are welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Prof, good morning. Good to see you. It's been a
Good
while.
afternoon, BD.
Yes.
BD. Yeah.
Okay, BD could help us here. We saw Tompolo. We've seen Asari. All of these men run security arm and security structures, and we see them also going overboard. I have pictures. Even though people will say Nnamdi did similar thing, but I have pictures of Asari's boys coming to the southeast and killing young men, taking people's life out because they think that they are members of IPOB and all of that. I mean, is this not an overboard, exaggerated way of going about this security issue if we're saying allow private security arms? BD, what will you say about this? You're on ground there in the southeast too.
Of course, they are going overboard. But you see, allowing private people to operate security agency in Nigeria is one of the problems we're having in Nigeria today, because it starts from regulation. We have poor regulation, poor in regulating these people, because you can't get a standardized professional security because you don't regulate them. And one of the ways you cannot regulate, because you don't give them professional training. And that is why what you mentioned now, that is why somebody from South can actually come into the Southeast, taking life by himself, taking laws by himself, because they are not professionally trained. They don't train them. They just come up on their own, and they start something. They feel, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is the right thing I should do. It's a personal motive. They do it. So that is another thing. Another thing is poor synergy. This security apparatus and government security, they don't synergize, because for you to achieve better security in a society or in any society, there should be a synergy between the police, the army, and all these people. They don't synergize, so it becomes a problem. We've seen in Nigeria where a lot of them crash in many occasions. They clash in many occasions. So I don't think Nigeria is due, or even we are not qualified to have such security outfits in the hands of individuals, because we don't manage them very well.
Can I beg to defy a little bit? And the reason why I say I beg to defy a little bit is this: we shouldn't throw the baby with the bathwater. Now, this private security outfit we're talking about had been useful to our nation in the past.
Yes.
Now, in the past, they were able, we use this security outfit to curb the menace of kidnapping in the South. They were able to maintain security on the pipeline. They were useful to the government. I said defy a little bit. I now want to concur with BD on this. What we need to do is regulate this and see how we can synergize this with the new law that's coming in, the act, the bill on state policing. How can we manage this with this. We shouldn't just look at them as just evil. No, they went. They were the ones that were to stabilize the killings, the kidnapping, the menace in the pipelines in the swamp. When the Nigerian army could not go into the swamp, because they know the terrain, they were able to manage that, and they were given contracts for that, and they were useful for that purpose. We could now because they are not useful, they just discard them, or else we'll just make them another enemy of state. Instead of making an enemy of state, how do we now synergize this and make them part of it? They can become a part of that state policing we're talking about in the South-South. Exactly. They can be a part of that policing, state policing we're going to talk about in that region. Because that region is a volatile region as well. You cannot just leave it and say, well, we're going to just trade new people. No, we have to look at people who are very vast in that area, who are very conversant with that area, and then begin to manage that. For example, in the Southwest, for example, if we want to start a security outfit like that, we cannot just ignore the like of the Agbekoyas, the Igbos. See how we can manage them to those areas. You can look at the JTF in the north. How do you manage them to those areas? How do you now suggest them into the security outfit they're going to do in the north? We shouldn't be doing things like we're doing paperwork in Nigeria. You look at our local environment, look at our uniqueness in our community and our environment, and use that to the best of our ability and best of our knowledge. Use that. We shouldn't just take a blueprint for America and go and dump it on Nigeria and say, this is how it works in America. This is how no. Politics and social environment is determined by the locality, and then use those as a basis of creating that.
Dr. Olufemi, yes. What PD is saying is the excesses that these private individuals could begin to go. Like presently, there's a fight going on in Prof, your area. Edo State now is having issues with the private army of Asari Dokubo because he says that they're encroaching. Yes, the Gele land, they are encroaching. So there will be excesses. This is what BD is trying to say. The excesses is where government should now come in and bring in regulators, bring in a policy where it's balanced. George, don't you think so?
Yes, I do. I mean, like, I applaud what Dr. Femi is saying. Don't throw away, the baby with the bathwater. We can sanitize it, and all we need to do is to openly bring out rules and regulations for the state policing and then this private security system, because they were created out of vacuum. Nature abhors vacuum. That was the only reason why it was created. Tom Polo, that is managing, protecting the pipelines, is reduced those people that used to go over the pipelines and try to suck oil from these pipelines. So, we see that because of the vacuum that was created, this private security system is working. But legally, they are not supposed to carry firearms. That's another area that is questionable. Because if they're carrying firearms, did the federal government give them permit to carry these firearms? Because then it's not a legal situation whereby private security people here in Canada, private security officers are not carrying guns unless they have permit for that. And that's what Nigeria needs to do. And we need to really create a system whereby people can legally go and apply to carry guns. Because believe me, because of the insecurity we're having in Nigeria, when a lot of people are carrying guns, you see these terrorists, they will begin to fear. Because they don't know what they're going to be able to meet when they come into states. Like what is happening right now. You can't with the kind of ammunition that they're carrying, machetes are not going to do it. You need individuals to get permit and get guns to protect themselves, honestly. That's another level that we're going to go to very soon. And we're going to start about this for the federal government to permit people to carry weapons as long as it's registered.
Say, can I say something?
Go ahead. Okay, Prof, go ahead.
I know with the happenings in Nigeria, everybody wants to carry arms, but I must be frank with you. With the kind of society we live in, Nigerian society, with the kind of mindset we have, if they should license arm gun in this country, I think we'll be done in the next 5 years. I am telling you. Nigerians are not mentally ready to have such policy in Nigeria. You see, we are so timid. We resent each other so much that, and even with that gun, I write news every day. I know how many people are being killed by an individual because, oh, I don't like what he or she is doing. Oh, I asked her out or him money, he did not give me. They're just taking people's life. Now, imagine what it would be that you now have a gun. You are licensed to use it. Please, I'm not part of those people who are supporting or
Well,
approving for
listen to me. Listen to me. We are in
except we
2026.
have to sanitize ourselves mentally before we can.
We are
I
in
think that I know that
2026.
we need to, protect ourselves because of the kind of insecurity that is on ground. But Nigerians are not ready. We are not strong.
You cannot say that. You cannot say that. There are civilizations all over the world, like in Canada, for instance. Okay, people, they have guns. You can get guns licensed. When your gun is licensed, fingerprints are taken. All those things are taken, and the rules and regulations will be given on how to use it and when to use it, and where not to use it. So right now, the criminals are the ones having guns. Individuals are not having guns. The criminals are the ones having guns. I know in Britain, even the police, I don't think the police carries gun in Britain, do they?
No, we don't carry guns. They are a special squad that carry gun. And I want to disagree with you, Sir George. Sir George, there was, remember, post-war, post-civil war, there was proliferation of guns in Nigeria. And what happened? Spike of armed robbery in Nigeria. Just because of that civil war, few years of civil war, when there was proliferation of arms, there was a serious spike of armed robbery because people had guns. All of a sudden, you now want people to have guns in their hand. Like Bidi said, people just say, even in Nigeria, when two cars hit each other, people come down and start fighting with fists. We want them to have guns? No. Even America that has a liberalized gun, they are now crying out, they want it to be stopped. Do you know how many people were, in 2004, 43,000 people were shot in America. 43,000 shot in America. Died of guns. And we are talking about, listen, it is not, part of headache is not cutting off the head. So pure headache is not the cutting of the head. Now, peace, no matter what the crisis will be, no matter how to solve a crisis, you will still have to sit down and discuss the crisis. Because we have a crisis, we don't have to import guns and say, let's start shooting each other. No, that's not the solution. The solution is what caused us, what brought us here. It is not what will take us to another level. What brought us here? Can we solve it? And we can resolve it without shooting each other. Let the shooting and the ammunition, let it stay with the law enforcement agencies.
But again, Dr. Femi, understand what George is saying. The guns are in the wrong hands too. You talk about proliferation of guns, arms after the war. We have massive proliferation of arms now because of Libya.
It is not up to 10% of Nigerians. They are up to 10% Nigerians.
No. If you know the amount of arms that is in Nigeria, Dr. Femi,
it is not up to 10%. It is not up to 10%.
When Libya fell, the arms that entered Nigeria, they said at the point they said
it is still not 20, up to 10%.
It is more than
10% Nigeria. No.
Okay,
if I may say something here, I think
go ahead, bro.
Let's listen to our sister on the ground. What she's telling us, what is going on in the neighborhood, in the streets, and the byways and the highways. I totally understand, Sir George, that in Canada people can carry guns. The last time I checked, nobody manufactured guns in Nigeria. Maybe there are some closet manufacturers that manufacture guns. I think the clamor for people carrying guns was the absence of security because they did not feel safe. They wanted to protect themselves. But now, if we are saying there is going to be state policing, there's going to be a new constitution that allows for established police systems all across the country. Perhaps the need to carry individual guns should be down the road. It's not just now. It's not yet. If let's solve this problem first of not having enough policemen or policemen and women or police personnel to solve our security system, our security problem. Once we start doing that, once we start taking care of that, then we can start to discuss, do individuals need to carry arms? And what are the regulations? What are the requirements? You can't even check somebody's birthday right now. We don't have the records. I mean, we have records, but
Thank you, sir.
not very current. How are you going to check somebody's fingerprints? I mean, look at. I think let's crawl before we walk. We are not yet there at the point of saying let everybody carry a gun. The people are clamoring. They are shouting, "Let us carry guns," because they don't feel safe. But we're now saying we are going to try to make them feel safe a little bit, and then they don't need to worry about carrying guns right now. I think the heavy lifting is now going to be on the Senate and the House of Rep to make the laws. How do you differentiate the ones we were talking about earlier, the private security systems? How do you differentiate them from the authorized people like the police and the army who are wearing different, so we don't confuse all of them? To the point that I think our sister was making earlier about the Asari Dokubos and Tompolos and the likes. Maybe it might be an opportunity to kind of integrate some of those individuals into the regular police system if they qualify, not automatic, if they qualify. In other words, in order for you to be a police officer in the new Nigerians, the new Nigeria in quote, you have to have certain requirements. It's not like you don't have to be a bully. You don't have to be somebody who intimidate others. You have to have social skills that are required to be a good investigator, because you can't just go to people's house and knock them down. Here in the US, you have the FBI, you have the CIA, you have the DSA, you have the DNI, you have the local police, you have the sheriff, you have the highway patrol. All of these are working together in unison to provide thorough security system. Yet you have people who carry guns, and like Dr. Femi said, people are not crying, take the guns off the streets. We don't want that, because people are getting killed. Innocent people are dying every day. I mean, you send your kids to school, you're not sure they're going to come back home. You have police all over the place watching. And so we don't want that. Nigeria is not even crawling yet. So let's crawl before we walk. I think the idea of having people carrying guns in Nigeria is uncalled for. No, it's not, I mean, look, I mean, when we're having a regular conversation, you think we are arguing, we are fighting, and now you have guns in the hands of people. You can't do that. I think
you can't do that. Let's crawl before we start walking. Thank you very much, Prof. Strong words there. Gentlemen, the conversation is going well, and we have good viewers following up here. Viewers, like we said, you can add to the conversation too with your text and send in. Gentlemen, let's talk briefly about a situation in South Africa. Nigerians in South Africa are crying deeply. In fact, I just got a message now. I know we might have different opinion about this, but what do you guys say? Federal government plans to promise to bring those Nigerians that were affected with the xenophobia. We all know the story in South Africa, but they've all gone to the government center to be lifted out to Nigeria, and no plan, no plane, no movement. They are just there. Now they are crying because they've left their homes, they've packed up everything, they've signed out from the country somehow, but they are still there at the government center, wailing and waiting for our government to come take them back to Nigeria. George.
Listen, it is a sad situation, because in actuality, because this is where we have to be very careful when we are blaming the government per se. Okay, now the information came out. Alin Onyema has done this more than 16 times, bringing Nigerians from abroad, paying for it completely. This time, he is actually subsidizing the bringing back. The president actually signed for the money to be released. The money is supposed to be released to pay for these people to be brought back, but the money is not trickling down all the way. So the first group came back. Alin Onyema himself is waiting for the money to be released, and the reason why he said You say, I am not completely funding it right now because profit is down because of the price of fuel. So now the question is, where is that money that has been released by the federal government to bring these people back? Who is holding on to it and why? So these are the things we need to look into, because the president already signed for the money to be released. The first group already came. Now, bureaucracy and red tape is holding back the funds from bringing back the rest of them. And that is exactly what we need to do. So, Mrs. Ojuku, who is our foreign affairs minister, need to look into this immediately, because these people are hanging out there. There is no food, no shelter, nothing. They're just hanging out on the streets, sleeping on the streets, waiting for the plane to arrive. So we need to look into it as quickly as possible. And time is really drawing close, because June 30th is the deadline, and these people are afraid. Only a few churches that are bringing food to them, bringing welfare to these people. The federal government need to walk into this and make sure that the money released is being used properly.
Thank you very much, George, for making the analysis there. Now, I've always said it. We have a disease in Nigeria called civil service, and these civil servants are not elected. They are not from mass. They are fellow Nigerians who will do anything to sabotage anybody for personal gains. Government has released money. Airlines is waiting. It is bureaucracy of government that is holding this. Now we need to begin to look at. Somebody sent me a post. I shared it, and he was saying that if we have a better Nigeria, if we want a better Nigeria, can we Nigerians allow it to survive? Can we Nigerians allow a better and functional Nigeria to survive? Because most of Nigerians, I'm not saying this on this platform, most of us Nigerians thrive on bad system. Most of us Nigerians enjoy bad system. Each time a good system is working, Nigerians look at how do I sabotage it for personal gains. Now we're shouting about these people trapped in Nigeria. Everyone will shout on social media. Government signed that fund. Airline is ready. People in civil service who will jump on social media and say, government is this, Nigeria not happen to you. And they are the one holding that chain down. And we've seen it happen before. When the Minister Umahi was trying to curb the lateness in Federal Ministry of Works, they locked him out. Civil servants locked him out until he had to succumb in order to make that work. And we're complaining that Nigerian, that we shout out leadership. Leadership is not a problem. Followership is a major problem, because what happened is this: we sabotage system to favor ourselves. Look at this. Fellow Nigerians are crying in South Africa. Mr. Oyema, in his magnanimity, has decided to put his resources to the use of government. Government has signed out funds. The system is not allowing it to work. So we need to begin to check ourselves. We come over abroad and things work for us abroad. The reason because the system is working. We come in here. If we don't make it work, the system will spit us out, or the system will deal with us. That's why we are thriving. The reason why we are not thriving at home is because we are the problem of the system. So here, Nigerians are suffering in South Africa, and they are crying out in South Africa. Mrs. Ojuku is running up and down to make this work. Mm-hmm. And things are beginning to work, but some people are putting clogs in out of the way. Like my brothers here, Sir George here, this needs to be investigated. Some people need to be dealt with in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Mm-hmm. And let me tell you, the reason why, 1 second, Prof, the reason why a lot of times these things are happening, when the money is released, just hypothetically, if ₦1 billion is released, and you allow that money to sit in the bank for 2 months only, do you know how much you can make? ₦1 billion is released, and for 10% for 2 months only. This is exactly what has been happening. They will allow that money to sit long enough to make enough money, and then they will take the principal out and then start dispensing it for the use. We need to look into all of these things because it's happening. I met it when I was in Nigeria, where money was released for a function. They allowed that money to sit there for 6 months. 6 months making money. And a bank manager was telling me, because he was complicit to the whole thing, he was working with them. So the money, now when they invest that money for 6 months, what they will do, they will bring out the principal. The principal will now be dispensed for the purpose where it was actually released for. But the gain that they're going to make for 6 months is a lot of money. So that's what we're seeing. We need to investigate and make sure that this corruption stops.
Well, I agree with both my brothers here, what they have said, but I want to take a different approach to it, and that is, this is a time of crisis. The lives of your citizens are at stake. A responsible government will not use one approach, one track to try and save them. I think the government has access to everything in the country, military jets, police jets. They should mobilize everything they can to bring the citizens out of South Africa. Then we can deal with who is not doing what later on. The fact that they are relying on one track, one path, Oyama airpiece to airlift these people, to me, is irresponsible, because the lives of your citizens are at stake. You have to mobilize anything possible. Make a call, sign an agreement with South African Airlines, bring my people home. Sign Botswana Airlines, bring my people home. Whoever you can get, they have the money. They have the money, and they are able to wire money, send money everywhere to get their bulletproof vehicles. Why can't they bring the citizens home in a very timely manner? This is a crisis. Somebody has to be able to deal with it, not wait for airpeace to come and to mobilize this aircraft. Is that the only aircraft we have in Nigeria? Again,
Prof,
they can use military airplanes to bring the people home.
Prof.
Yes, sir.
Everything has been taken care of from the federal government standpoint, from the president's standpoint. The only problem is the bureaucracy and the red tape in the system.
When you say
Allen Onyema is ready. The planes are ready. He's waiting for payment, but he's waiting for payment. So the problem is not Allen Onyema being ready or APIS being ready. They are ready.
No, that's not what I'm saying, sir. That's not what
I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is this: we can only go into doing other things if one thing that is we have is not working.
No, you can't. You can't rely. We cannot rely on airpeace to be the sole provider for transportation to bring people whose lives are under threat home. This is a crisis, and you have to be sensitive to the needs of your citizens. I think that this problem lies in the fact that our foreign affairs system for many years has really not taken the lives of its citizens very seriously outside the country. Here in the US, for example, when the situation about deportation of citizens came up, many of us were crying out. This is the time for foreign affairs people to start reaching out to citizens. How can we help you? What can we do for you? Now, it doesn't matter how they got to South Africa. They may have gotten there by some other whatever means, but their lives are now being threatened. I think that the government that says, I care about my people, let me go and bring them out, then we can spank them later. Find out how they got there. Why did they get there? Why did they get there when they were not authorized to be there? But relying on airpeace alone, I think is a failure of policy. I'm sorry.
Okay,
okay, go ahead, Dr. Femi.
Can I just make a comment, sir? Now, so, Prof, in previous situations like this, airpeace had done this and been successful with in connection with Foreign Affairs Ministry, and they've done that in Libya, they've done that in various countries in Africa and even abroad. They've done that as successful.
China, in South Africa,
even in South Africa, they've airlifted the first batch. It shows that something is working. You don't go and fix what is not working. Now, the reason now is because it is not just working. That's why we're talking about this now. And like Sir just said, why is it not working? Sometimes we don't tend to relate to compare ourselves with, when America will do this, America will do that. In cases like America has also failed. We saw what happened in Afghanistan when they lifted some people, left some people behind. So no nation is perfect in this. So what we're looking at is what is wrong with our own system. How do we make it work? And that's why we are putting this out there. We don't know who's going to listen to this, who's going to read that. Fine, your submission is fantastic, sir. But that is not how our system works. American system will bring military jet from all over the world. The military jet that we have that is not enough to protect Borno State. We want to take it away from Angola, take it from South Africa. We don't know how they, like we said, we don't know how they got there in the first place. So we want to leave those who are in Nigeria, whose life are in danger. Want them to leave them in Zambisa forest and go and use that air to go and airlift people in South Africa. The same people Nigeria complain about it.
Prof is not basically saying it must be
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that is the challenge that we have.
Alternative. No, but I would go with Prof on the fact of alternative arrangements. Really, we don't have that. We've not embedded that culture. You have what you call.
Yeah, we don't have that culture.
Yes, second alternative plan. To everything. Now, like George said,
just real quick, I want to online give MPs kudos for what they have done in the past and what they have done in this particular situation. I know they have done quite a bit, even carrying football players all over the place when the government failed. I think they have stepped in very well. All I'm suggesting here is that the government can do better.
All right,
government can do better.
I agree with you, sir.
On that, let's go. Let's call it quits for today. It's been wonderful, intelligent discussion here, and interestingly, a huge crowd of viewers. Even though they weren't adding to the discussion, maybe they were enjoying to hear what.
Sir George, Mark. Before you go, I need to put in something. There was something disgusting that happened during the World Cup yesterday. I want to make my word. There was a nuisance called Spence that refused to shake hands of a party in the Ghanaian national team based on the fact that he was accused of something. He brought that into the pitch of play, and this guy needs to be addressed in the world space that is not acceptable. That is not acceptable.
It's not good sportsmanship.
It's not good sportsmanship.
No.
It's not good sportsmanship. This is a black man on a black man. It's a public nuisance. We are calling him out in England. He plays for sports, Tottenham Sports. We are calling him out in England. Each time he goes on the pitch, we have decided sports fans in England will be booing him until he publicly apologizes.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good way to go. That's a good way to go. We actually plan to have a World Cup update also during the week. I don't know when you gentlemen will be free. One of the days, the free days we have, we could be doing our updates on the World Cup if you want to. So we can also be.
Dr. Femi follows it very closely. I see his postings.
Yes. Very good.
Thank you, Prof.
Gentlemen, Prof, thank you for coming. I know your busy schedule there. George wakes up also very early to be here, and Dr. Olufemi leaves the class.
The heat is killing in London.
The heat is something else. Yes. We were talking about the heat the other day. Thank you very much, George.
Thank you very much.
My final word will be the same thing. It's Lord, to have mercy on Nigeria, heal our land, expose every darkness, raise righteous leaders, and help our leaders that they will have the wisdom to lead our nation to the place where it's supposed to be. Yes. God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank God.
Massive. Thank you.
Peace out.
Okay.
Peace out.
Okay.
Full line to go. George, thank you. All right. Till we come again Friday for our international updates. See you. Bye-bye.
Of course.